Hello. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm like this guy just rocks up. Hey, feed me. No. Yes. Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'm super interested in learning more about your experience because here in Australia it's very different. We have two big tentpole conventions that sort of happen here, but they're more pop culture focused, as opposed to say comic focused. But I'm just curious to see how you guys went. So LA Comic Con. So what was the experience like in sort of leading up to it, in getting all the items together before you went to set up a table? Because I know personally, and you know as well through chatting to you guys, that there's a little bit more than just rocking up, putting a tablecloth on a table, and then throwing books on it. There's a lot more other variables and moving parts, you know. There isn't? Oh no, I'm doing it all wrong. 8 feet. Wow. Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
again wasn't a problem. And we had extra trades, which we sold. I think we sold two or three of them, so
Oh,
that was
fantastic.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I tried to take pictures of people as they were buying them, and I never got to
Yes.
trade people.
Ah,
Just freaked out to spend that much money. Um, um, so yeah, it was buying supplies, and then we had talked to Don Wynn, who tables at a lot of conventions. He was a guest at LA Comic Con, as an example. About like kind of what we should do, and he suggested like for the trades we use these kind of phone stands, which worked pretty well.
Yes. Right.
And he recommended we get a certain kind. Don't use a plastic rack or whatever, acrylic.
Yeah.
So you got a metal one,
Metal one. Yeah.
and but everything like starts to add up. It wasn't. The table was over a little over $700, and you spent about, I don't know, with the tablecloth. Then we bought a tablecloth to put over the tablecloth when we weren't there, and bought some more
Right.
business cards and things like that. We signed up to be part of they called it a floor tour, which Don Wynn again was the organizer of. Basically, the idea was that you have a certain uh, booths you're supposed to hit, and each booth it gives you something while supply lasts. We were handing out a trading card, and then you check off that yes they came to your booth, and at the end of the day they would turn it in, or at least by the end of the con, and they would be able to win prizes that
Ah,
Don had
okay.
also put together. And
Okay.
suppose you got more points if you bought something. Nobody did for us
Right.
at the time,
Right.
but
Okay.
uh, so it was just and then we didn't know where we were until the app came out. That you would think they would tell you here's your booth number, but as I wrote the guy says can you tell us our booth? Well, it's on the app, and I'm like great. I
Ah,
expected a
okay.
little more, a little
Wow.
something more ceremonial than
Yeah.
just find
Yeah.
it on the app.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and we had bought we did extra things like we had a cover for our truck where we're going to take all the supplies in, and so we bought a new cover because the other one was kind of falling apart, and you get kind of grease all over your hands every time you opened or closed it. So we had to buy a new cover, little things like
Yeah.
that we weren't,
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily.
You-
We were
Yeah.
probably going to do that anyway, but
Mm.
we amped it up for the con.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and
So
we bought extra T-shirts.
I noticed that. Yeah,
And
I
then we
noticed
bought
that.
sample T-shirts to have, which of course, again, nobody noticed, but we had
Right.
samples
Right.
in case somebody was interested, and we came up with a little booklet of here's what the how much T-shirt,
Yeah.
sort of a QR code to take you to the T-shirt if you were interested.
Right.
Um, so a lot of, we thought about pricing and we thought about signage, and my wife helped a lot too with some of the thinking of things
Awesome.
through.
Yeah.
We set it up, I think, twice in our living room.
Some dummy run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see kind of
Yeah.
how does it look and what are we
I've
missing.
done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of role playing while you're at it.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Would you like to buy my comic book? Yeah.
Do you
That sort
like
of thing.
romance? That was the thing.
Yeah, you do like romance. We don't have any, but
Yeah, well, as it turns out, the person next to us at the con, we'll get to that, was actually doing romance.
I was going to ask about the person next to you. Is it Drunk from Flamingo Publishing? Was that someone next to you, or was that someone else?
Yeah.
Yes, they were next to us.
They had a very
One of our
interesting
book
logo.
members.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
The logo was very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were actually very nice people. They were,
Yes,
and
I'm sure they were.
a little story is when we got there to unload, they had told you to, unload your stuff, then go get your badge. Well, it's great. So you get there, and oh no, you have to have your badge first before we'll give you permission to go upstairs to unload. Okay. So I had to dump we were in a turn lane, so I just left the car there. We all went in to get our badges. But I went back to the car behind us to say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm leaving my car here. So I went to the guy behind me and said, hey, I'm going to leave my car here. He goes, oh yeah, my wife is getting our badges because we know this thing happened. And it was that was the Drunk Flamingo people, as it turns out. So we met them before the con.
Right.
Yeah, so that was kind of nice. And they were nice people, and the people on the other side of us were Moshi Cat.
Yes.
And so you looked up where we were. It's good. Reconnected, successful. Okay, sorry. And they were basically this little, cute image of a cat. They're what they call their boss cat. They have a bookstore in Kauai, which is the westernmost bookstore in America, apparently.
Okay.
And he goes, if you ever want to do a signing, you can come to Kauai and write it off as write it off.
Right off, tax write-off or something.
I had to go there for a signing. And they were nice people too, but he was there mostly for, they have a lot of you pay up front to have your photograph taken with somebody or to get an autograph with somebody, and they have panels, and he was really into Back to the Future, and they had Michael J. Fox and the basic four main stars of the movie there. So he was dressed up like like the guy, and had the skateboard, which they all signed for him.
Wow.
And he was like gone for a long time doing that, which is, I think, part of the reason he wanted to go was to be part of that. And then there was an Addams Family thing that he also went to. So he was gone, I would say, a lot, and they probably could have made a lot of sales, but I think that wasn't necessarily their main.
That wasn't the main source of
and after the next day, they went toured sites of where they shot Back to the Future.
Wow,
so really
very cool.
Back to the Future. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a good movie series, and we've had the Bob Gale sign stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, but
I managed to get Bob Gale to sign a copy of the movie and a comic.
Fantastic.
This was at another con. But the funny story there was we had bought a Blu-ray set of all three movies, and we were getting ready to go. We could not find that to save our lives.
Really?
Yeah, and so I went to a Barnes and Noble that used to have them in Santa Monica and bought a copy of a DVD of the first movie, which is the only one copy they had. And we go down to San Diego Comic-Con and get it signed, bring it back. We're going to put it away, and hey, there's the three.
Yeah, you found it. Yeah, it's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
It always just shows up.
That was fine. Makes that more special, I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, we unloaded. You have to set up by 12 o'clock the first day because it opens at 1. And that wasn't really
Okay, so like the first day opens at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Because it's Friday. Okay.
Okay.
It's not like, but it's like, I don't, it was, we had to pay every day for parking, which is like $30, which is, hopefully we
adds up.
Yeah. Adds up. And, it was interesting. So we set up and we walked around a little bit. It was kind of cool to see kind of the con before the con. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Walk around and see that people hadn't set up anything yet or were going to do it or in the process. And it's all the way across the floor of this convention center. It's all like, getting put up. So that was
Yeah.
kind of cool, but you can't really. It's a different experience for us. We had never been on that side of the table at a con like that, so you're kind of
Yeah.
like, kind of feel you have to be there,
Yes.
and so the con is going on around you as opposed to you being a part of it, kind of. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
I'm assuming during the days of the event, did you get to sort of go away from your table and experience anything else, or we just stayed at your table the whole time?
Well, for us, there was a lot of downtime, so we were able to occasionally take turns to go to other booths and look at stuff, or in our turn, in our case, we were able to get a handful of things signed
Yeah.
by people who were doing it either for free or it didn't cost much.
Yeah. So it was
usually.
Yeah, but and I occasionally went away, but I didn't really walk the floor. We did a lot of stuff before it opened the next day, you know, and walked around. There was the DeLorean from the movie.
Yep.
Had been one of them had been refurbished.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
so it
Wow.
was there, and again, our neighbor went to get his picture taken sitting there.
There
Okay.
were actually two DeLoreans.
Yeah,
on
actually,
the
there was one
floor.
there for a musical version.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
That,
Right.
yeah, one of them was to promote Back to the Future the musical, which I guess is at the Pantages.
I guess so.
Over here.
Yeah.
And the other one was an actual DeLorean that they used in the movie.
So there was
Oh,
two
that's cool.
DeLoreans, no waiting. you
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
So we went back to the future, and we're back now.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was. I honestly didn't really get past. It's not okay. So it's a little pop culture ish.
Yeah.
The main floor, the main part of the floor was Kia cars.
Yeah.
Right.
And
okay.
over in one of the halls, the Coast Guard or somebody was
Yeah.
recruiting. Yeah, it's not
They,
quite. Yeah, it's not
Oh,
quite
okay.
the Comic-Con.
I think there was a police department that was also.
Yeah, I got my library card there. You know, it was kind of not the. It's not just solid comic book.
Sorry for laughing.
No. Yeah.
Wow,
I think
okay.
we kind of knew that going in because we'd been there a couple of times. Been to the con, and it's not wall to wall comic books.
Yeah.
And
Have you been to like a? Sorry to digress just a little bit. Have you been to like a convention, so to speak, where it's just comic books?
No, the closest would be WonderCon or part of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's the big. They're all kind of pop culture conventions in some way.
Well, I guess during the dual strikes, Comic-Con became more comic focused.
Yeah, because
Yes.
there was.
Yes, because there was no one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we. We made friends with our neighbors, and it seemed like every time I left, if I went to the restroom or something, then somebody would come over and ask questions. Like, I don't know if I was like keeping people from coming over.
That's funny you say that, because I've taken my wife and my son with me, and I feel like when I'm taking my son to go to the restroom, the bathroom, or we go to look at something, and my wife's there, I come back, he's like, oh, there was one guy here, and he was trying to understand how you did this, and he wanted to know the ins and outs of how you make a comic. I'm like, what? And this has happened on multiple occasions. People rock up, and I'm like, is there some organization out there is like watching my table, waiting for me to leave, and comes in and just asks these random questions?
Go.
I need to be there for. Like, they're trying to keep me on my toes or something. It's like, so from now on, I barely go to the toilet or get break or anything. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a guy across the way that was Katvana, or was it about cats across the way from us?
Katvana?
Katvana, yeah.
Katvana.
Pervana.
Pervana. That's right. Pervana.
Yes,
Pervana.
sounds
I'm sorry.
appropriate,
It was Pervana. And as soon as I left to go do something, he came over and asked about the comic book.
Right.
So yeah, I was just like, okay, well,
Don't worry. I understand. I understand.
And then next to Drunken Flamingo was a rock band.
Hard
Okay.
rock band.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Satellite City.
Right.
And
Spelled CITI.
TI, yeah. And they were having, this wheel where you could win stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Wow.
okay, so the booth cost you, but you're giving away, and I won an EP, and he gave me an album because Trevor had spun it and had won something, so I gave the album to Trevor. You won a T-shirt,
Yeah.
and we traded. They actually had a comic book, so we traded issues of comic
Cool.
books.
Nice. Did
And-
swaps.
yeah. These are worth something. Give me yours. We listened to the EP on the way down the next morning. It's good stuff.
It's
you
good?
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
Okay.
able to go by and actually say I liked your music and stuff. As well.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know.
So do you think those guys are just doing it as a marketing exercise, like more than anything?
I would
Or
think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to come away with, they didn't go viral because of LA Comic Con, but they probably did get somebody people would come up and talk to them and stuff. And they had a guy that was actually there. It was a husband and wife group, but they had some guy that was there playing guitar with a little tiny speaker, so it was
Mini
like
amp.
blaring, little amp, yeah. And,
Oh, wow.
so that was a little like, okay, but-
Fortunately, it was at a tolerable volume.
yeah, it wasn't loud,
Yeah.
I think, but the idea was like, okay. So that was kind of about as far so I met those people and Pervana, and there was Larry Houston,
Yeah.
who had worked on X-Men,
Producer.
producer of X-Men, the animated series. He was there, and around the corner from him were the Leewalds, who had actually worked on it before.
Yeah, they were the showrunners for the first X-Men cartoon.
Yeah, so they were there, and we'd actually had met them at other cons before, and
Nice.
so yeah, that was kind of cool. And there was, I really don't know who was in Orange Sally because I never really got over there very much. I went over the one time to deliver. Somebody ran out of the flyer, and I found Don and I found Eric Arega, who was also on the panel. He was there as also as a guest of LA Comic Con, which I assume means you get a free table.
Well, I think Eric said it didn't matter to him how you pronounced his last name because he's heard multiple
Right, yeah.
pronunciations.
Yeah. And so, that was, again, it was, I felt kind of like I needed to be at the booth.
yeah, right.
Yeah. And as soon as it would open, I felt like I needed to be there. Not that
Yes.
there were swarms of people lining up,
Yeah. You just want to. Yeah, you want to be there. So, was there any sort of reoccurring sort of questions that came by from people that sort of visited your table? Was
What
there
is
anything
power
that sort of
squared? That kind of.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
That was basically,
So,
and we'd
yeah.
give them the little.
a bit of a pitch? You had your elevator pitch of some sort to say what it was.
Yeah, we kind of worked on that a little bit. If we cut it off too soon, they were like, "Oh, okay." But if we talked about the yokai, that kind of like moved it another step.
Yeah.
Our pitch ended up being in like 3 short parts,
Yeah,
but like a sentence.
yeah,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of just people like they would. Okay, so Drunk Flamingo was on one side and Moshi Cat was on the other. So there was a lot of people that would be looking at. They'd see the, I'll say romance. She had everything from romance to erotica, and it's mostly
There is a difference.
yes, and but
There
it's,
is.
but it's lesbian stories, right?
They catered to a number of different markets. One of them was sapphic
Okay,
literature.
sorry. All right, so
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
which is fine. So people would see that stuff, and then they would be talking, and they go, "Oh, look, Bushy Cat," and they go, it's like,
Why not just skip past you,
Yeah.
sort of thing? Yeah.
which was after a while, and we'd hand out business cards if somebody looked at the table, we could get their attention. I was thinking we should get one of those. I don't know if they have them in Australia. Those little thin guys with their arms waving when they put the
Yeah.
Get one of those on our table. Hey, we're here. And I was honestly surprised at who bought the comic book.
Yep. I probably share the same sentiment with you when it comes to that. Like I always said to my wife Julie that when we've been at these recent regional conventions. I can guarantee there's always going to be one person at every single convention that'll rock up, will not ask questions, they'll buy every single book on the table and leave. But there is, for some reason, there's people that come in and they buy my books, and I'm like, they're not the sort of people I think I'm writing for, at all. Zero.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, they're so interested in this. It's just not. I can't somehow figure out that connection, but I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So we didn't have that experience where somebody came up and bought every book. I was waiting for that to happen because Lucas said this would happen. So
Well, we did have the experience where someone bought most of them.
yes,
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
John Barber, who was actually the moderator on the panel we were on.
I saw the photo.
Yeah, and he had, I guess he'd been at IDW and he went through his stuff and he had 1 through 9. And so he went to buy whatever else we had, which was 10 through 23.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it was pretty. And then he liked the fact that we had a COVID cover for issue 10.
Right.
And he goes, he wanted to do that at IDW, and they wouldn't let him.
They wouldn't let him. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, none of the artists went for it.
Yeah.
Or something.
So anyway, I was like, hey,
Oh, there you go.
if nobody cares about you, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So he bought that because that was kind of cool. And
I didn't expect Eda the Owl Lady to
oh yeah, that's kind of what the owl lady showed up.
Yeah.
So I have one more photo to post of people that bought the book that I took. I should have taken more, but sometimes you're just like, wow, they bought the book.
You get sort of caught up in that, and someone else comes in, you forget, and then they just move on.
I think that's why someone framed their photos as the photos I remembered to take.
Towards the end, there was this woman that came up and she was asking about it, and so I was telling her. She goes, "Oh well." I go, "Okay, tell you what I'll do. I'll give you both the first 2 issues for $5."
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So she decided to do it. So and then there was a guy, Stephen Prince, who had been on the panel, had come up to actually, we had bought his. I have his whole run of Monster Matador. He came to buy the first.
Yes.
He came to buy the first 2 issues. I go, okay, or the first issue. And I go, I'll give you the same deal because he's standing right there. And I'm trying to. So I gave him the first 2 issues for $5.
Always be closing.
Yeah. And so that was also a different experience, having to try to make people buy something. You kind of want them to want to buy it.
Yeah, it's almost like you've got to. Like, I've noticed on a few occasions where there's been people that just sort of just walk by, and I have to. I think I spoke about it last time. I look at what they're wearing, and if they're wearing a certain T-shirt that I know what it's about, I go, "Oh, I like your T-shirt." I like how that character did this in that show or movie or whatever, and then that sort of grabs their attention, and try and hook them in with that, and then slowly reel them in with my pitch, and then go, you find more stuff about them out, and then you try and just close it.
There were people there that I really had a hard time imagining were there for comic books.
Right.
They just did not look like they were there to find something new to read.
But do you think it sort of plays, these sort of things, they obviously play into the whole well-known, they obviously play into the well-known intellectual property, and from what I've noticed at conventions, a lot of the people that do the fan art, it's all like Deadpool, Wolverine, what's the flavor of the month?
Yeah.
And everyone gravitates towards that. And I've seen young girls make $2,000 to $3,000 just for prints, just boom, like that. I'm just like, what is, and here's me trying to do original, something very original, like you guys, just totally original. It's nothing, nothing, whatever. But and we make just a couple of sales.
Yeah,
it's like it just stings the heart a little bit. But,
because if when you go down Artist Alley, most of it is, hey, I drew Wolverine, or I drew
Wolverine or Deadpool. Yeah.
There was somebody there that had a booth where they had paintings up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they sold any or not. I don't know. But it seems like, I know at Comic-Con there's some booth that has real expensive paintings, like $10,000 and stuff.
Yeah.
You just wonder how many people are like, oh, that's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just leave it here. I'll pick it up. I wonder sometimes about the expectation is, and maybe you
Yeah.
sell one and hey, you're good for a couple of years, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I just and I don't know if we were small press. I assume exhibitors, which is another level up, was more expensive.
Right. Okay.
And
So, what are you saying the table costs for small press is? Like
it was $720.
$20. That's US. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yes.
crazy.
So if we can, with a future convention, we go for a cheaper table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get a cheaper table. Is that what you're saying for next
Well,
time? Or?
like we were looking into other, because we've got the fever now. Let's keep doing this. No,
No,
but
you do. You
yeah.
do get it.
So we were asking around, and again, Don was recommending Ontario, which
Right.
has a comic con there, and
This is over in Canada. Is that
no, Ontario.
No.
There's actually an Ontario in LA
Oh, is
County.
there? Oh, is there? Right.
Even
Sorry.
has an airport.
Excuse my
It has a
excuse
major
my
airport.
geographical ignorance.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Because
Well,
I'm also
I
kind
can
of
see
stuck.
How you think of the other one?
Yeah, no, it's understandable. I'm just not. I don't have I have a day job, so I can't just take off every Friday and drive to someplace.
Yeah.
But Ontario was the place we thought about doing, and I wrote to the guy while I was at the con. He wrote back right away while I was there,
nice.
and he even wrote me today saying, "Hey, I haven't heard from you."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but I was like, it's a small exhibitor table. They have exhibitor, large exhibitor, or VIP exhibitor, and artist alley. That's the three flavors they have.
Right.
And it would be $750 for 2 days in Ontario, which may draw a lot of people. But I was just like, okay, maybe we'd like to do. Can we apply for artist alley? Which is like $325 or something.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, we're full, but we'll put you on the waiting list. Okay, so it's fine.
Okay. Fair enough.
So we have applied for WonderCon and Comic-Con.
Okay.
So, and it would be good if we could do both, because then you kind of build up to the show. It's kind of the major
show.
moves,
Yeah.
Going to LA San Diego Comic-Con.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's really cool. Did you collect any email addresses while you were there, of people that walked by? Or?
Yeah, the people around us and stuff, and we got we had a sign up sheet to join the mailing list, and we got 6 people to sign up for it.
Okay.
Part of it was, again, when they bought something, I'd forget to ask them.
Yeah.
You kind of get in this, hey, somebody actually liked me enough to buy something.
There's an excitement.
Yeah. So we only got 6 people to sign up.
That's 6 people, 6 people.
Well, but it'd be nice if everybody walked. And we gave a lot of business cards out, and as I want to say, the woman from next door to us, Drunken.
Yeah.
She was saying that now that they have your card, you'll be in their head. They'll.
As soon as they see your name, you're now living rent free in their head.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So if you want to get an email, one guy was like, "Well, I don't really read emails, but I'll take signed up for it." Okay.
You don't read emails?
Yeah, I'll take anything.
Read emails.
I don't read
newsletters. Yeah.
Oh, newsletters, right? Okay.
I just want you to sign up for sign up for it. I don't care if you're.
Yeah.
Most people don't read it actually, but.
I read it. I'm curious about the panel that you guys were on with John.
Yeah, we had. I proposed the panel. And we had done it 2 years before at LA Comic-Con, when it was in this. They used to have it be in December,
right?
Which is kind of a little. It's not like, oh, I don't have the time, but it is kind of like
it's a funky time of the year,
to be doing it. And so we had proposed I was shocked that they took it, and we did it with.
Why were you shocked?
Power Squared and Don Wynn was there, and Tina Sessa Ward from Delegates was there, which was Delegates and us or on Artithmeric.
Right.
So we had her there, and we did the panel. I moderated it, which was a little a little weird. and because I have like zero experience moderating, and I was also trying to be part of the panel. So
Yes. Yes.
so I had the idea like, what if I asked, so John Barber we've known for a while, even though he's
Right.
and he's a really nice guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
is really
yeah.
nice. And we actually talked to him. He meets us in the pro lounge at San Diego Comic-Con just to talk, which is nice. It makes me feel really
Wow.
important,
Oh wow. That's cool.
So when we were there during the summer, I said, I'm thinking about doing it again, and would you moderate it? And I think I'd asked him the first time. He goes, like, where are you going to find people to be on it? Which wasn't a problem. But he goes, sure. This time he said, sure, I'll do it. And so I was like, okay. And I had put up on Facebook for, there's a California conventions or something there. And I said I was looking to do a panel at LA Comic Con, looking for somebody to be on the panel. And this woman replied on behalf of Eric, as it turns out. And so I met him at San Diego Comic Con, and just sort of sealed the deal that he'd be doing the panel. And then Stephen Prince was there with Monster Matador, and so I started talking to him. I go, well, hey, I'm doing this panel at LA Comic Con. And so he lives in Santa Monica, so he just came just to do the panel.
Beautiful.
But so, so that was pretty cool. And basically, I look at it's kind of ironic that 2 years later, the only people that are still on the panel are the three of us doing Power Squared. And then we kind of, which I was told was not a bad thing. We outnumbered the audience. We could have, there was like 4 or 5 people there.
Yeah,
oh, really?
I talked to another creator at LA Comic Con about it, and he said that's actually common for a panel.
And panels that we went to at LA Comic Con it's sparsely. Maybe that's not the panel culture hasn't caught up with it or something, but
Right.
And we didn't have a big name. I mean,
But so with the regardless of how many people were there, did you get any sort of interaction from those people in the audience, like with asking questions at all? Was it open for
Eric
that? Or
did.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Which was fine.
Yeah.
And I guess I had more say. We basically started this not knowing anything about. We've never done a comic book. We haven't been drawing one since we were kids. I mean, I haven't. So he and Steve and Eric had been, I've always been drawing this book or whatever. And Eric had quit his day job just to concentrate on his stuff. So a little more, maybe the passion was maybe more there than I still work a day job.
But you guys have still got a story and
it's
there and tell. It's just a very different point of view.
It's different. And so I think the last time we did it, we outnumbered the audience again.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of common, and it may be different if you're bringing in, Jim Lee's gonna be on your panel. I'm sure.
Or you got Todd McFarlane or something.
And those guys wouldn't be on it. I'm kidding. We pleaded and they didn't care. No, so we met some more people to have on the show.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like Lee Walt's going to be on, hopefully.
That's awesome.
Tom Flex.
Tony Fleeks.
Tony Fleeks. Sorry, Tony Fleeks.
Tony Fleeks.
He even like, okay, here's the date. He even invited us for the date he could be on the show. He sent us an invitation. So.
Oh, beautiful.
We also invited Patrick Horvath,
right,
who has the comic Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Okay.
And so it's kind of what's kind of cool is if you ask people, a lot of times they'll say sure.
They do. Yeah.
And
most people do.
So we've had some pretty, I think some pretty good big names, David Peterson, things like that.
Yeah.
So we met some more people.
Yeah. You're widening your network, and the experience is good for that.
Yeah. And
I watched your quick one of the YouTube videos where the two girls went live, and then you guys tuned in. Briefly for the show, which is really cool.
I want to. Well, we do a podcast every Friday, and I'm like, they have been really good about, and some of the best podcasts are them doing the show. But I was like, I want to we're at LA Comic Con. I want to use that as much as possible. So we've brought this computer, which is ancient, with us, and we're using. There's no Wi-Fi. They don't supply electricity, so we had bought one of the things we had purchased was,
Power bank or something. Yeah.
I guess I should give a shout out to Steven Silver because we watched his video about how to table, and so there's a lot of great information there. But so anyway, we were using a phone, trying to use a phone as the hotspot, and it was just like slower than molasses. So we decided to try to use my phone, but I realized I think that what SiriusXM always plays on it.
Yeah.
Because that way it won't. When I'm listening to it, it doesn't disconnect. So we were trying to use my phone. You could hear, some SiriusXM in the background. So we ended up using Paul's phone, hooking up a mic to it, and hoping that it would work.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of, again, I think it's kind of fun to do because at a convention, we'd actually had interviewed somebody on the floor of a convention after it was over, and it was, it looked really good. Kurt Sauer. So the fact that we were having this struggle was kind of but I just wanted to be able to say, hey, we're live at the Comic-Con. What the heck.
That was a nice little touch. It was good to sort of see you guys pop in and see that you're out there in the wild, doing your thing, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, so I would look forward to doing a convention again. Hopefully, it would actually, be chosen, I guess, for these.
What would you do differently after having done this one and sort of reflecting on it? Would you do something a little bit different on the next one, or would you change things up? Or?
Well, I would make sure. Obviously, you're going to sell issue number 1.
Yes. Yeah.
We had plenty of them, but I guess I'd like to maybe, in a perfect world, kind of bring them up more to us. They're kind of the first issue we put out, but I think we've gone back and as part of one of the trades, we kind of cleaned up some stuff in the dialogue-wise and stuff.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty sure that that's part of it, but it'd just be nice to sort of maybe clean it up and bring it up. Have the SRCC press in the corner and have the blue page of the website. And I was thinking maybe we should even put a QR code on it or something, just so if you look at it, you can just go to our website instead of having to type, because type in a website.
Nobody does that these days. Do you offer bundles for, like, I know you were saying you were discounting sort of issues, but actually, would you consider like putting a bundle together? First pen or something, or
I would also consider raising the price on the trades, because I think we kind of did, I think we were selling for less than they actually cost.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But so there's a few adjustments here and there. But
we figured if we were at an Artist Alley table, we'd probably emphasize the trades more, but still offer the single issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Probably would. Again, I wanted to be prepared in case somebody decided they wanted a T-shirt, and I arranged to have a discount, and we wanted to have, we were wearing each a different shirt every day as kind of in case anybody cared, and we had samples, different sizes, and so if you actually want. But I think the problem was it's 8 feet back against a black curtain, and it probably disappeared. Yeah. And I had a banner made for the school. Santa Maria Community College, and with a QR code there, which would take you to where you could enroll. And somebody, I think, at least more than one person probably thought it was a real school. So.
Right.
So we might have been a little too clever with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have to have read the book to understand the.
To understand, okay.
But
so you want people just rocking up, going, "Oh, can I just sign up for the semester?" You didn't want that. No.
Well, I think I've told the story maybe on here before, but I had somebody write to me one time asking about the nursing school we offered.
I think you remember telling me. Yeah.
I was like,
Wow.
okay, it's a
That's
fake
kind of
school.
cool though. You should play into it and create a whole application form that takes them back to the website to buy a comic or something. I don't know.
Well, actually, you get a free comic if you sign up, and we've actually had diplomas made up.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you use that for a Kickstarter, or hey, you've been a subscriber for however long. Hey, you get a a diploma of your choice or whatever for entertainment only or whatever. But
yeah.
But they look, Rachel
graduation
do those for us. They look pretty good.
That's kind of cool. You could play into that a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll see. If you want an AA degree, a fake AA degree, where the school to sign up for. But,
I'm now a lawyer. Yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
Associate of Arts of Law. Yeah. So, and if someone calls, we'll say yes, you were at the school. So yeah, it was. Maybe that was still a little too clever.
I think I think you need to play into that more.
Well,
so what was your most positive experience from being at LA Comic Con? Did you see Ewan McGregor? Was Ewan McGregor there? Was he?
He was there, but not anywhere near us.
No, okay.
Yeah, he would have been on the closest. He would be on the main stage.
Yeah,
right.
Which is as opposed to Comic-Con's main stage is Hall H.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con's main stage is Hall H. This main stage is at the back of the main floor.
Okay.
So if you don't want to, and they've done a better job. When we first went there, when we were talking to the Leewalds a couple years ago, they were right next to the main stage, and you could not hear what you were saying to each other. It was really loud.
Wow.
So I was glad we were kind of away from it, but I don't recall it really being that loud this time.
Right.
We could kind of see what was going on if you looked through people's, between.
To be fair, we were
panels.
far enough away that it wasn't too loud for us.
Yeah.
But I remember when we were walking the floor, Markiplier's clothing brand Cloak was there for the first time, and they were close to the main stage. So I asked them about that, and they said they want to try to next time they do that, they want to try to get a booth that's a little deeper in, like further away from the main stage, because they had a lot of people crowding the booth, and it could also get pretty loud. And the woman that I talked to said she didn't wear earplugs because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to hear people asking them about stuff.
Yeah.
So
it was a little too much for them.
So yeah.
Did you pick up you went and looked at that clothing, but you didn't buy anything? Is that right? I remember watching.
I bought a shirt.
You bought a shirt.
Yeah,
okay.
I bought one too, but he bought it. But it's for Halloween. So.
Yeah. Cool. Nice.
Oh, and we also bought this set of tarot cards.
Oh, beautiful. Nice.
We should have a link back to
that. My wife's into tarot cards, but
this supposedly, I mean, I know nothing about tarot cards, but supposedly this is like a really good set. I mean, they went back and did all the.
They did the major and minor arcana instead of just the major arcana.
And even though I don't really think that's part of Markiplier's brand, I give them credit for doing the whole thing correctly. So
to be fair, cool. Markiplier has done some had some existentialist moments.
Okay.
Including he had a project that was Unus Annus, and the entire point of that was he and his friend Ethan would put up a video on that channel every single day, and those were videos that they would normally get demonetized for on their main channel, so it was just whatever wild stuff they could think of, and it would be deleted after 1 year.
I see.
So it was supposed to be symbolic about the nature of death and memory.
Okay, that's kind of a deep, depressing thought. Thanks for bringing that up. No,
Well,
but
it's
no, but I okay. So it's, but he doesn't like do tarot card readings. He's So
No.
just saying, I was trying to give him credit for going the extra
Yes.
mile when it's
Yeah.
not his main forte. But I
Yeah.
guess he does have an interest in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's just a bit of a little bit of experimenting and
Yeah.
sort of tapping into the existential realm. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So sorry, coming back. What was your like? Sorry to interrupt with the whole Ewan McGregor thing, but what was your most positive experience from the show? Like one thing. Or maybe there's two. I don't know. 3, 4.
Getting to meet people I wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yeah, you got to meet people. I don't know. It was. I guess for me, it would be somebody coming up that I wouldn't have expected to buy our stuff and buying like the trade or something. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me was sort of like a little bit of vindication. That's why I'm here. Somebody actually wants to buy it. That was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And yeah, I think that's because we're doing this hoping people will read it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good indication that they're actually people are buying the trade. They will take the time to sit down and read that, because it is. I find with trades as well. Your trade's a hardcover one, isn't it?
Well, this is paperback.
Oh, it's paperback, yeah. Even if it's like a thicker book, though, I feel like people have the tendency to look after it a little bit better when there's more pages and the quality's a little bit, thicker and better. Whereas like with floppy. I think it's floppies or anything like that, but like I treat my comic books, very well. But
I was we probably maybe would have hardbacks. I was just trying to make it kind of cost
cost effective.
That'd be $50, please, thank you.
But some people, would pay that.
I just was trying to keep the cost down as much as possible. So really nothing there costs over $20.
Right.
So next time it's nothing over $30, but
get it up there,
Yeah.
Bringing those big bucks. Come on.
So I as far as bundling something together, I think that would if that had come up, we might have done it, and I did bundle towards the end. But we didn't give John Barber a deal. He paid full price for everything. That was
okay.
It was really cool.
Good on him.
As far as
awesome. Yeah. So. Awesome.
And he was wearing a Power Squared T-shirt.
I saw the T-shirt. I saw him in the thing, and it's representing. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah.
So that was
great.
That was kind of fun to see somebody actually wearing our product. I was wondering if you'd wear it because the panel. He's supposed to be the moderator, but hey.
No, he went all out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I guess seeing him wear a T-shirt would be another
positive.
Yeah, positive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What else? Oh. So if someone was to come to you tomorrow and say, "Oh, I've got a comic book, I've done this and that, but I haven't been at a convention before," what's I don't know, the number one top tip you would advise them on?
Try not to spend too much money on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's. I think a lot of for Artist Alley and stuff, they can that you can get a commission, right? And sometimes the commissions are like $100 and the table's $300, so we can do 3 commissions a day. Hey, Brooke, even. Or or you're a well-known person, you can sell books. It's not hard, but for them. But I would say you should kind of scale yourself to, not overspend really on the space.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, people, if they bought a book, it was issue 1 for the most part.
Right.
Yeah. And I think we'd heard that when we did our first signing up at the local comic book store. The guy was saying, you need to make sure you have a lot of 1s and 2s, because if someone likes it, they'll come back and will buy the second issue. But over buy. But you're just hoping that maybe you'd be there and somebody would come up and say, "I want everyone," whatever.
Yeah. Well, you
Because
don't
you
know.
had promised that would happen, but it's okay. Sorry.
Well, I don't have.
It happens to me every time. But yeah.
It does. I'm sorry. It just.
But it's a little. It's a little more. I mean, we have 23 issues.
You have 23.
Yeah.
I've only got like 6 books or something. So
Some people are like, "How long have you been doing it?" Well, it's a lot of issues. Yeah, it's a lot of issues.
But it's good. Hats off to you guys for being so consistent. I think consistency is the name of the game, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah. I was gonna say another. With consistency. If you're consistent, you will eventually find an audience. Another couple important bits of convention advice. Verticality.
Yeah, be vertical.
Yeah.
Don't put everything flat on the table. You want
Yep.
vertical. Also,
I learned that the hard way.
Also, you shouldn't table at a convention where the content of your comic is too mismatched with what the convention is about. For example, if you have a cute thing, don't take it to a horror con.
Right.
Because at a horror convention, people are expecting different things.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
That was a extreme example that Steven Silver gave,
Right.
but that's still something worth keeping in mind.
And even though we'd already bought the vertical display, James Silvani gave us that same advice: go vertical.
Yeah.
So
it's worth repeating.
It's good. It's good advice because you want people to
I
walk up and see what you got, not like have to look at your table.
Yeah, 100% agree. Even if they're looking across the room, they still can see something visual.
There was a little hallway between the panel between the booths where we were straight ahead for like 4 or 5 rows.
Oh, right.
Didn't really do anything, but
right.
Yeah. So it was, verticals is very good advice.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask us?
I just thought when you said vertical, I thought you meant stand up, be vertical.
Well, we stood up most of the time.
Yeah. That's me
Silver
joking.
did
Just
also
trying to make a bad
advise
joke.
trying to stand up.
Yes.
As much
Yeah.
as
We try to
possible.
Did you stand up? Yeah, I rarely sit down. Like it's, I
We
find
would
that standing up
occasionally take
engaging with
turns
everyone.
sitting down because but try to be there, and you want to have something you can give people.
Yes.
At least a business card or something. Some people suggest postcards, but
yeah, I've got little business cards with my details on it, but then I've got a bigger postcard that directs people to the free comic on my website as well, like a QR code's on there.
On the back of our business card is a QR code.
Yeah.
So
I haven't had anyone scan that from what I understand.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of QR codes that no way. Okay, thanks. That's
a lot of
great.
QR codes out there waiting to be scanned, but
And you're hoping that somebody goes to their bag and goes power squared. Oh, what's with that is?
That, like the romance novel person said, they'll be in your mind. So they'll be in. Yeah.
And people,
true,
it was interesting to watch people approach them. They were.
Yeah.
But it was.
Was
because you're looking for that thing. Hey, there it is.
Oh, right. You just sort of.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. Yeah.
There's always something you're looking for. So and they have somewhat of a following. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was fun. It was, it was hard work, but not exhausting. And,
Yeah. So has it lit some sort of fire beneath you guys to sort of keep, like you said, catching a fever or something? Like, is it?
Well, we're more interested in trying to find out some local, Comic Cons we could go to. We had there was one, and there still is, I'm sure, because there's one in Long Beach
Right.
Comic Con, which is I'd heard about before I heard about Ontario, and I went on their website, and the kind of a bad sign was the application is from 2023.
Right. Okay.
And then the person you contact, that email doesn't work. So I was like,
right. Okay.
So,
it doesn't exist.
maybe they're, Well, there was a time where with LA Comic Con, I had made one payment in March, and I needed to make another one by a certain date in August or something. And
Right.
I hadn't been, of course, they had approached me about the money, but I wanted to make sure they got it. And
Yeah.
so the phone number I had for the guy that I had worked with, Andrew, didn't work. Great. And I tried calling the main number, didn't work. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? And I think I even emailed him, and nothing. You know, I was emailing everybody I could think of there. You know, the guy that sent me the invoice, Andrew, and anybody. And I finally got a response from somebody else who sent me the invoice.
Some guy named Bob or something.
Yeah, but I was like, what happened? You know, and we changed providers, so all the numbers changed. Like, okay, as you're prepping for the con, that's they were a little, they're a little, and I'm putting this in quotes, a little disorganized.
Right.
I think.
Right.
I mean, you know, it would. I was reading someplace where maybe it's Ontario. You'll know 6 months in advance where your booth is. We didn't find out until again the app was live, and some people then got their booth changed on them. Or I've heard of that happening to people.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Interesting.
So little,
little things like that.
Yeah, and I think some of it had to do with the convention center. As LA Convention Center, like they want to charge you. So they gave you 2 chairs. We had 4 people. Wouldn't be able to all sit down, especially if we were eating. And we bought a little table to eat at, fit into the booth. But like renting a chair was like $300.
$300.
And so he goes. The guy was saying, you could buy a chair for less. We bought 4 chairs. We took
$2.
Yeah. And the ones we're sitting on now, they're cushiony and stuff. They're not hard. So and then we ended up buying 2 battery backups. Just I think because we bought one, that one was recommended by Steven Silver, so we bought that one. And then we bought a special dolly so that we could take everything in.
Beautiful.
So So we again, that was all the prep work for doing it, and the money. And if we do another one, then we don't have to buy a.
You don't have that anymore. You sort of
all those expenses are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. I'd love to come over there one day and just sort of see how you guys go at one and sort of visit stuff. Yeah. Be awesome.
Well, if we come to San Diego Comic Con, you should come.
I should. Why not? Let's do it.
Apply for a booth.
No. Yeah. I don't think I'm at that level like you guys are just yet.
Well, I'm hoping that they like our stuff well enough to offer us, and I think the small press is smaller there, but I don't think it costs near as much either. So
okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Or if it costs, it's you're at Comic Con. I guess that's the thing. I think it does cost, but you're at Comic Con. Yeah,
you got that nice logo and stamp that you can put.
You're at the big time.
The big time. That's the big leagues. Yeah.
Called you up from the minors, which is a baseball thing.
I know a little bit, tiny bit of baseball. Not too much.
What were we watching? They were playing Rounders.
Shaun the Sheep,
yeah.
On the sheep.
Yeah.
Cricket.
They were playing Rounders, which is sort of
Rounders.
It seemed like kind of a combination of cricket and baseball.
Yeah. Shaun the Sheep. I love Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah.
yes.
Beautiful show. That's
we got into we ended up watching the Wallace and Gromit shorts.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun.
I love that, and all the chicken run stuff. And what was
They're not organized.
So pure and just lots of passion and creativity. Very pure.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want
anyway.
to ask?
I don't know. I just thought I'd jump on and say hi. And
no, I appreciate the fact you wanted to do this.
Yeah, I hope I've asked the right questions and given a lot of insights.
Well, when you leave, we'll finish the show. I'm kidding. We'll really talk about it now.
All right, next hour we're going to properly do what we want to talk about.
So you've got a Kickstarter coming up soon?
Yeah. So it's probably going to be next year.
Okay.
I've deliberately sort of gone ahead and done the pre-launch page just to get interest in following up.
Right.
And I do have some exciting news around it. I don't know if I can share it just yet.
Man,
I don't know if I'm
okay,
allowed
fine.
to.
You want to be
No,
on the
no,
show, but
it's-
then you don't want to share that? That's fine.
No.
It's only us that's going to know.
So I think last episode I was talking to you guys about there was this government funded incentive here in
Right.
Australia. It was called Match Lab, where
Uh-huh.
I'd go to a 2-day workshop, learn about extra things about crowdfunding, and if I did that 2-day workshop, I'd sort of get this stamp of approval from the Australian government through a Creative Australia type
And they put
organisation.
you in Parliament, right? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I run the country. No, I don't even know who runs this country right now. I don't even pay attention to our politics. So if I was to be successful with that, I go run my Kickstarter. Whatever I earn, they match every dollar.
Wow.
And I got in a
Well,
few
good for
weeks
you.
back. I got in. So I'm flying to Melbourne. Thank you.
Wow.
Next 2 weeks
Wow.
they fly me out there, paying for accommodation. So I'm going to sit there and learn about crowdfunding.
Wow. You have to come back
Yeah.
and tell us what they told you.
Yeah, I will. I'll come back and have lots of knowledge.
Unless they make you sign an NDA. You can't
Yeah,
tell
they
anybody.
might.
This is
They might.
government
They'll be
knowledge.
like, yeah.
Make you swear.
Even me saying this right now, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to because it hasn't been
They
actually
come
announced.
busting through the window. You're out.
Men in black, yeah. You're out. But yeah, that's happening. So
That's pretty cool. Congratulations. That's
No, thank you so much. So that will be the dates that I've put in to make this all happens next year. So
Right.
I've got a deadline from I think it's November of 2025 to get everything done.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's a nice long. Either governments give you really tight deadlines or really long deadlines. So that's
So this is a nice long one. So
Right.
but I've got to get my ass into gear, so to speak, because there's a few things I've got to sort out with the story and all that as well.
That
But,
sounds exciting. Do they help you with that part of it, or is it just strictly the?
It's just strictly this opportunity to sit in and learn from some people that crowdfund and raise money full time.
It's interesting
So
the government
in
does
the arts, it's I want to know who they are. Like I don't know.
that. Yeah, that's cool. They do it. I'm just surprised.
It's quite surprising. So
Is Australia gonna be the land of Kickstarters or something? Kangaroos are old hat. We want to be Kickstarter. No.
maybe I don't know.
Well,
Who knows?
congratulations though. And
No, thank you. But yeah, I'll come back and talk about it when.
yes, that'll be your 10th appearance on the show.
Is this my 9th?
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
just
it's your
deliberately.
9th time.
I'm deliberately trying to just get on here to do the 10th. That's my little.
You're hoping
inner
there'll be another
monologue.
T-shirt. I know.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, no.
'Cause you never wear the T-shirt we gave.
I'm sorry. I just jumped into this. I've got it here. I'm like,
Sure,
I
it's
totally
okay.
forgot. I was looking after my
Well,
son.
you won't see
and
me
all
cry
that
when we get
stuff.
off here. No, it's but no. We're glad you like it so much.
I do wear it. Trust me, I do wear it. I will show you photos. But anyway,
All right.
but yeah, no, good. Congrats to you guys for doing LA Comic Con.
Yeah, that was kind of a big step for us. And
I think,
I don't think we had expectations that we're gonna, make our money back or anything like that. I really went in with kind of knowing this was hopefully just getting our name out there a little bit more than sitting at home doing the podcast.
No, that's like an extension of of your marketing and so forth. But I think take the advice from the flamingo romance novel people. It's like those people are now in your you're in people's minds now.
Yeah. Why do I have this card?
But even just like them walking by and then seeing the logo and stuff.
I got something in my teeth. I got this business card now. It's great. All right. Well, thanks for coming on to ask us questions about our experience, and hope you learned something about the.
No, I did.
All right.
I learned a lot. Yeah.
So until next. Oh.
If you're watching this on YouTube later and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment below if you have any experiences you want to share from LA Comic Con.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.